Hi everyone, this is Callie. Welcome to my channel. I have a quick video showing how I created this background card using a simple background stamp. This is a Gina K design set called Poinsettia background, and as you can see, it's very busy, but at the same time, it's a repeated pattern. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be coloring, but I'm going to go super fast through it because there's really not much to this card except for coloring. So what I'm doing is I'm sticking my stamp and cardstock into my MISTI, preparing it with some anti-static powder tool. Then I'll stamp it with a clear embossing ink. I'm using Versamark for this card. And then I'll stamp the image onto my prepared white cardstock. So from the image that you saw at the beginning, this card is going to be fully covered in color. So yes, it does start in white and there is a lot of coloring to do, but if you're patient, which this took me about an hour to color, you can definitely turn something that is simple into something that's really beautiful, as long as you have patience. And so we are going to start coloring now, and I'm using some Copic markers. On these poinsettias, I'm using 4 different colors of Copic markers, and I'm not using 4 colors on each petal. I'm using 3 on each petal, and I'm trying to create a little bit of variation. And I'm not sure if I chose a light enough color for the variation part of it, but basically I'm using the 3 darker colors on every other petal, and then the 3 lighter colors on every other petal, alternating with the darker petals. So there is a slight variation, but I don't know if you can tell. And so here we are. I'm just going to continue with the foliage, and I've colored my mistletoe branches in a lighter green. And then for the holly leaves, I'm coloring them with a darker olive toned leaf color. And then I'll color the berries with a deep pink here. So I want to mention, if you stamp your image with a black ink, that's perfectly fine. It is going to look beautiful depending on the color that you choose. I chose to emboss it. I feel like it's easier to emboss the image because those embossing lines repel the ink, and your Copic ink will sit on top of that embossed area. So if you look really close at my panel right now, you'll see some black markers, some red markers, some green markers sitting on top of that gold embossing powder. And here's what I do to clean that up. I'm using a little Q-tip, and I'm dabbing a bit of alcohol onto it, just plain rubbing alcohol. And I'm going to swipe that over my embossed lines. It doesn't ruin the Copic coloring at all. I'm not scrubbing it or anything like that. I'm just barely wiping it. And it just takes that Copic ink right off of the embossed areas. Now, if you decided to use black ink and not emboss, then you could emboss clear embossing powder over black ink too. That would work out great, and you don't even have to clean it up. So it just depends on the look that you're going after. This is just a tip to clean up those gold embossed areas. And now I'm just going to splatter my panel with some white paint because you know I like my white paint splatters and a little bit of texture and interest. For the sentiment, I'm using these holiday greeting sentiments from Gina K Designs. These are pre-printed sentiments, super easy to use, and I love being able to just slap a simple sentiment onto my card. On my card base, I went ahead and pre-glued 3 layers of scrap cardstock onto the back before adhering my panel. That'll just give my card a bit of sturdiness and a bit more dimension for that top layer. And for additional interest, I am just adding some little sunshine pearls here from Pretty Pink Posh over the centers of the poinsettias. So that finishes my card. If you have a background stamp that you absolutely love and don't mind spending some time coloring, try this out. I don't spend a lot of time coloring anymore, but this is a classic technique that I learned from Yana Smakula, and I love using it when there's a great background stamp like this. I hope that this inspires you to create. If you're interested in the products that I used today, be sure to check out the links below where everything will be linked for your convenience. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Bye.